On September 9th, 2017, I was arrested while preparing what I hoped to be a lethal dose of heroin with the intention of killing myself. I was given a break from the insanity that plagued me and further developed a connection with my former probation officer. He was able to connect me with community resources and advocate for my recovery in a way that I didn't see as possible. Today, that same person who I used to fear in my addiction is a man that I update on the progress in my life on a frequent basis. I'm not required to. What I fear is that if this system didn't exist, I wouldn't have received that break, I wouldn't have gotten that clarity, and I would still be stuck in what I knew, or at this point dead. My existence was hopeless, my recovery capital was non existent, but I was given the opportunity to change my story through an imperfect system. Eventually, that PO got me into residential treatment, and I moved into a supportive housing environment after that. There I went into intensive outpatient. I became connected with the recovery community organization, and I found a place that I can call home. The same place that I started my recovery gave me an opportunity to find employment. In the last 2.5 years, I've gone from not wanting to live to providing support for those coming behind me. I own my car, I pay my rent, and I have a beautiful wife and daughter that I would never have been able to be present for within my former existence. I beg that we don't let our frustration with a flawed system undermine people like me who are given a second chance. We do have changes to make. We have progress that is necessary. But I believe in the strategic plan set forward by Oregon Recovers, and I believe in our ability to meet this change locally without out-of-state interest. Something different doesn't necessarily mean something better. When we hear the proponents of 110, they are rightfully angry about the shortcomings of our current system. I too am outraged on a daily basis. I'm outraged by a system that ranks 47th in addiction treatment. I'm outraged by the wait times for those seeking care. I'm outraged that our systems are still based on a linear model that doesn't provide adequate aftercare. And I'm outraged that the Drug Policy Alliance has used these very real issues as a means to manipulate support for a decriminalization bill under the guise of expanding recovery services. As I've previously mentioned, their funding numbers are based on the reallocation of current resources. They don't create any treatment beds, and they won't stop a judicial system from acting within bias on our BIPOC population. I believe that all people should have the right to immediate treatment and receive a continuum of care that expands beyond the linear approach. I believe that we need to tackle the stigma that has been associated with those suffering from substance use disorder and be inclusive of all methods of recovery. I believe that we need to transition over to a system that views addiction as a health concern, not a moral failing, dependent on the criminal justice system. Unfortunately, right now, we don't have a system to oversee that transition. While I am frustrated by where we currently are, I am relieved to know that there is an organization out there fighting to make the necessary changes that are so desperately needed in Oregon. Oregon Recovers has set 3-year goals, from establishing community support and instilling a comprehensive recovery plan that takes value in culturally specific programs while increasing the general understanding of what is needed. We are in this process. Funding sources are being created, public support is rising, and the idea that we should base our mission around on what's needed and not what is currently provided is beginning to take hold. To my fellow people in recovery, we do need to see change. We do need to see an overhaul of our current system. But I'm urging you to read the bill and hoping that you'll see the lacking details in its legislation aren't going to expand anything for an already underserved population. All we're going to see is the destabilization of current programs. And as I previously mentioned, something different doesn't always mean something better. I believe in Oregon. I believe that we can come up with policy that changes our state for the better. I don't think we need New York special interests coming in and telling us how to do that. My name is Robert. I'm an addict in recovery, and once again, I'm urging you to vote no on Measure 110.